I said I would do the Venom Let There Be Carnage spoiler review, and that's exactly what we're doing. And per request, it will be entirely like this.
Okay, that's not true. I know it might be an improvement, but I can't do that for a whole 5 minutes or however long this is going to be. So let's just get into my thoughts with spoilers so I can tell you why I really enjoyed and to an extent love Venom Let There Be Carnage. Yeah, I know, we're all confused.
You love me, you love
Man,
me.
shut up. Okay, again, this is spoilers, so again, just be warned, I'm going to talk about why I think this film works when I'm also seeing many people say it doesn't. But in my opinion, it did work because it favors the shorter runtime. Everybody knows this film is very rapid fire, like really rapid fire. I mean, an hour and 30 minutes, it's not a whole lot, but the film does exactly what it needs to because it's more structured, it's more focused. And that, in my opinion, works. Instead of beating you over the head about more of Eddie's past or more of Cletus's past than they need to, they tell you everything you need to know right up front. And then they tell you, oh, well, everything that I just told you about Cletus, yeah, his whole upbringing and everything, that's exactly how Eddie is. So the story and exposition we get about, oh, this is how my family treated me, I was an outcast, I'm like this, I'm like that, and I am where I am. It's because of all these circumstances, and it's exactly why you're here, Eddie, and it's why I feel like I need you as a friend. I honestly really appreciated that because it simplified everything. For people that felt like they didn't know who Eddie was in the first film, you got it here, and in my opinion, this film shows you how he could have went wrong. Was he just a little bit more violent or gave into his violent tendencies? Carnage, Cletus, he didn't have this moral compass or code or anything holding him back, so he does give into it. Again, that's something I really loved in this, and the two stories run very parallel to one another throughout the film, and the usage of Shriek, in my opinion, actually worked. It gives a sort of heart to Cletus, as she, we learn, is the only person that he has ever really cared about. And the reason he, as a young person, child, whatever, depending on how old he was at the time, killed all these people or hurt them is because he didn't have anybody that understood his violent tendencies and who he was and what he felt. Shriek, on the other hand, is exactly like this. We learned this, and they fall for each other because nobody understood them when they were in a lockup. Again, I thought that worked here. I understand it's cliche, it's whatever, but you're watching a film about Venom and Carnage, and the purpose of everything here was to get you to the fight, and the fights are great. I'm not kidding. There's some great stuff in here. Like, I'm not sure if people noticed this when they watched it, but it's actually crystal clear. You can tell what's going on, specifically in the last fight. And what I really like is when they get to that last fight, they use sound the way it should be used in a Venom movie. And what I mean by that is there is this ripple effect that goes throughout the fight. That's the bell that sends the sound wave that hits the symbiotes, and then they demorph, if you will. And they're having a fight while this is happening. So every time the bell hits, they can't be in their symbiote state. So they got to duke it out. And then when the ringing stops, they transform back. And if you pay attention, they actually played with the sound hitting them at different frequencies and levels, which actually was really great because the further they got away from it, the bigger and stronger they got. Again, I thought that was handled great. I thought the symbiotes also were handled great because they didn't look the same, they didn't handle the same. You could almost tell that Andy Serkis was there on set going, no, this is how you would have to be as Carnage because he's lankier. He's more brutal, which kind of ties it all together to this interesting universe because everything seems different. Honestly, in my opinion, this film felt sort of like a soft reboot. Like, they took some of the elements of the first film and just said, you know what, let's just ignore that happened and just kind of do this over here. And I really do like it. I appreciate it for that because they did listen to some of the mistakes and criticisms that many people had from the first film and just straight up address them. One, again, the runtime being a prime factor of it. And by the end of the film, I like what they did with Venom kind of being now the lethal protector. That's literally what him and Eddie agree upon, because throughout the film, they're also having their own relationship, which I brought up earlier. We see that Cletus and Shriek are trying to get closer together. At the same time, Eddie and Venom are tearing each other apart. because they can't coexist, because they think they don't really need each other, because each one can do better without the other. And by the end, they're converged again because they realize they are great partners. Again, look, I get the criticisms. I get it. But in my opinion, this is the best Venom we were ever going to get. And this is it right here. It's a film based on Carnage, who's not that deep of a character. So the fact they pulled this off, in my opinion, just works. I mean, watch it for yourself. I just gave you a couple spoilers and reasons why I like it that I couldn't really go into in the, spoiler-free review. But in my opinion, I can't wait to watch this again. I can't wait to do the audio commentary.
See, we knew that you would love this film. Just because we're MCU adjacent now, and we're technically in it, you have to love it. That's why you're a shill. You don't understand the complexity of things that are more complex than your brain.